40-pound vest. I can only imagine if it was 100 pounds, but it makes me want to do some movements and training. This is amazing, a 40-pound vest. I can only imagine if it was 100 pounds, but it makes me want to do some movements and training.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Deontay Wilder recently did an exclusive interview with 78 Sports TV, and this is what Deontay had to say in regards to Tyson Fury, and he reads this. He reads, "You think he ain't gonna try to cheat this time? Oh, they're thinking. They're coming up with a master plan. But you couldn't even get me out on loaded gloves and the conditions I was under. You didn't knock me out." From 78 Sports TV. Let me counterpunch. First I'll say, I didn't like, because when I see him talk about cheating, okay, this is the second interview that I've mentioned him talking about cheating since the press conference. And thing come to mind, I don't like, hey, I'm quiet when he's around, but then when he leaves, I'm talking again type of situation. I don't like that. And it kind of reminds me of like, it's many things that pop up like, okay, why didn't he say anything? Why didn't Tyson Fury bring up anything? Now, I want people to understand, first of all, I have no doubt that Tyson Fury would have responded about the cheating allegations. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have, but what I'm saying, it probably wasn't meant to say. And I think it might have been an agreed deal or whatnot to sell the third fight, because it's kind of funny. You go back to these platforms where it started and then you remain saying the same thing. But when he's there, it's like that is the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, man, you thought you were cheated, and the type of cheating that he was talking about was criminal. Okay, so I was told that the reason he didn't mention it was because of some kind of gag order or whatever. But then a gag order means you can't speak about it, right? You can't speak about it. You don't talk about it, but you're talking about it and speaking about it after the fact. So that's the contradiction in that particular theory. Okay. Now, him saying that, hey, they're trying to find a way to cheat. Look, I don't like that idea, because to me, it seems like Deontay Wilder is already setting up an excuse. Glovegate 3.0, Glovegate 4.0, before he loses, if he loses. Therefore, if that 5-round knockout, like Malik Scott predicted earlier today, as he quoted, if it doesn't happen and it doesn't work, I think what's going to happen is, I think they're already trying to muster up some type of way, and in a way that, hey, we don't know how he's going to be cheated or how he's going to cheat me. We just know he's going to cheat me. Okay, well, brother, if you think that Tyson Fury cheated you first and second fight, like they feel, maybe not, right? But I think he does. I think that Deontay Wilder, I think he definitely wants to avenge his loss, and he thinks he was cheated, and he gives himself props like, hey, you couldn't even knock me out. But see, speaking of that, you couldn't knock me out. I'll get back to the other part later. Do you still think he has pillow fists? Do you still think he has that? Because that's what you were bragging on before, like, hey, he couldn't punch. Do you think he can punch now? Because if you say no, that means you don't know the difference between a hard punch and a soft one, because you were busted up. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you He couldn't stop you, but can he punch hard now because he cheated, like you think, allegedly? Right? So I feel that I don't like it because it's showing that you're going into a lion's den knowing you're going to get ate up. You say the Nevada State Athletic Commission was in on it, like the commissioners was in on it. Your coach, your former coach, was in on it. Tyson Fury, it was a whole setup for everybody like you against the world, like Tupac Shakur or something like that. But then you're going to go back and put your fate and your trust into those guys. And if he feels that Tyson Fury is going to try to cheat, just the same thing I told Tate Jones. I'm like, look, you guys are going to have to muster up some type of strategy that will satisfy you guys to make sure Tyson Fury doesn't try any slick BS. Because if you don't, why are you talking about him cheating and you know that you don't trust anybody else, so why would you put yourself in that situation? And the only thing that I would be doing if I'm Deontay Wilder, I would not be fighting him a third time. I would be taking him to court, just like the arbitration. If you notice, why would you put your energy into an arbitration versus a court case where you felt like some criminal activity could have taken place, that took place with you, and you can prove it to the dents in my head, doctor's reports, and images that support the doctor's report and the thing on your head. Right? That's what I would be concerned with. You know, the Fury Joshua fight would have happened, but guess what? I would have been taking him to court. He would have been in court with me. It wouldn't have been for an arbitration, so that tells you a lot by itself. But speaking of that, I will explain that on another video. But back to the cheating things, I think that Wilder is just, he's setting a platform for multiple more content for his followers, like 78 and the rest. Because if he gets beat and he can't explain it, I think we're going to see more of accusations. I think we're going to see more of the same shit we heard before. This time, though, you won't have that type of support. I mean, some of them, they'll do it just because Wilder said it, and whatever Wilder says, they're going to report it and then give their own agreeance to it. I know how it's going to go down. They're going to agree to it. He's going to leak something out there to his selected few guys that he deals with, Blue Blood and company and all those guys. And he's going to start, hey, yeah, I felt I was cheated in this type of way. And then it'll be something else. But what do we really see? Wilder is going to make a legacy when it was time for him to make legacy by making excuses. He will be the WBC former heavyweight champion that made excuses for each and every time he lost. And nobody will respect that shit. I don't care who you are. You won't respect it. Although many fighters have made excuses, George Foreman, Mike Tyson, etc. Even Evander Holyfield lately, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't keep making excuses for the losses they kept getting. Hey, I got beat. He was a better man that night. Okay? But I think that's what it is. I don't like it. Because it's just showing me that, hey, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And then you're winning, and if it goes the distance, you won't win, which, if that's the case, if that was true, how did you get a draw with 2 knockdowns and you lost probably every round except one? You won 3 rounds out of that. It's 5 rounds to 7. But they give you a draw. So they gave you an extra round somewhere. And it all ended up being a draw. But then they're against you and you kept your WBC belt, but they're against you. Everybody's against you all of a sudden because you lost. I doubt it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Deontay Wilder stating that Tyson Fury is making up a master plan to cheat. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.